Let's talk about platinum. Last week we said it was time to buy, and the market did push to the upside. Let's talk a bit about that setup, and let's also talk about the future because I still think this market could have more gains going forward. Let's just first dissect the last week's trade idea in platinum. Last week I said people are probably going to be buying between these levels, actually from here all the way down, and looking for this to bottom out and then push to the upside. So obviously, when we highlight this, we need to be clever in the way we execute. So one simple way is actually to add an alert. So you add an alert here, and then you see what's happening here when we push to the downside. So for example, you can see it goes straight down and then goes even lower here. So here we have an option, and unfortunately, it's just something we need to take a decision on. The decision would be, look, I'm just going to buy here, for example, because we're so close to the stop. So we're just going to buy. Okay. That gives you this kind of entry. Okay. The other option, which is also possible, is to wait, is to see, okay, do we get like a reversal candle? So here on the 1 hour, we did actually get a reversal candle here. It's this one here, that hammer. And then following that, we enter. So we have these two options. And then, of course, the market goes down, went up, and then went down, and then lower again. And then here, we would have been stopped out at the lowest price here, unfortunately, for nothing. So we pushed lower, and then we've been stopped out, and then the market pushed to the upside. Sometimes this happens, and we just have to take it. Sometimes we can adjust the stop loss a little bit. So, for example, put it at the actual low instead of putting it like I did here at a low, but not the most important low. Okay. Now, how about this going forward then? So let's look at this from this weekly chart. You can see that we, from at least a nominal price, because these are nominal prices, we pushed above these highs here. And I'm not sure we can call this a big rectangle, but it is a little bit like a rectangle. And if we would do like this, then yes, we can push a bit higher. Last week, so we looked at inflation adjusted prices. Now, the way to look at this as well is that we're in a very strong uptrend. So realistically, it's going to give us a bit more before it collapses, okay? So this is your daily chart. And let's see if we can pull the weekly. So this is the weekly. So let's identify the weekly low. The weekly low is down here. Okay, now we know that. And then here we need to take a decision. So it's a bit of a tricky situation like before. Are we going to focus on the actual low? Would actually have been this one. Or should we focus on a more shallower low? And where are the highs? Now, the first thing we can do is work with the actual true trend defining low, which is realistically this one here. So we would take Fibonacci from the low to the high. Okay, that's your 50%. That's your 61.8. And then also you have a high. So here in this region is realistically where most people will look to buy. So we'll string down, push a bit, and then up again. And here we need to take a call. So I would say, okay, we're going to work with this level here. We can, of course, work with this one level here. But if we work here, it's very easy to see how the risk to reward ratio works out. So we risk that amount, then we go up, and that's a 1.51 times reward ratio. Now, I know I give you this rectangle target, which you can't even see here, but ideally, again, push higher, possibly, realistically, a bit more. So I would look for this. How do we deal with this? When we start to push to the downside, how does it go? Do we go straight down here? Then obviously one can still buy, but probably stop loss wouldn't go here. We'll go slightly lower. Okay, so we need to be flexible here. That's my take on platinum. I still think we can push to the upside, and you just need to be mindful of where we enter in this trend.